big trench, we had other ones scattered around all over the place. Just here, another one at the top here, where we put the position of the trench is the most likely place for the moat to be. Absolutely no sign of it at all. So I suspect someone just in the late Victorian, early 20th century looked at the square shape of the plot, said oh, it ought to be moated, and then that's become a fact. It's written down in the book. But I don't think it ever was. Unfortunately, the only bits of early building we've got, we just start making up on this slide, are small areas of crushed sandstone. And when we excavated them, they're pretty shallow, pretty thin. They have nothing datable in them at all. So we've got one bit there, and another bit, just seeing this slide here. You can see how that's on the same alignment as the later building. They may be bits of the medieval sergeant's house, but I've got no way of proving it. Because archaeologists just like that sometimes. If it's not there to be found, you can't find it. So they may be it. Another bit that's possibly early is this well. Here, you just see the standpipe, and if I go up a few slides, you can see, well, you may be able to see it. You can see it on the original. There's the hand pump that goes with that well. And when we look closely at it, you can't see it so well on this photograph, but the curve of that wall goes underneath the corner of this building. So this stonework has got to have been put in before that wall. There's actually signs of that wall slumping into the well. So we know, looking at the brickwork, that brickwork's before 1700, sorry, before about 1750. And so that well has got to be before 1750 because it predates the brickwork. This is the cellar. It's in a very similar place to the cellar at Newton Hall. It's the same sort of size. But we had real trouble trying to understand this. You've got what looks like really nice 16th, 17th century masonry here. There's another wall with a slight angle to it here. And these things, which I realised pretty quickly on, were probably part of the air raid shelter. It wasn't until we started to dismantle it. These things you can see running across here are softwood timber joists. You can see they've been cut with a circular saw, so they're relatively modern. Excuse me. And they run underneath this blockwork. So I think these stone blocks would have been reused when they built the air raid shelter in 1940-ish. Right, we have to go back a few slides. You see we've got fireplace here, and that thing there sticking out was a metal grill for the fire. You see we've got one room here, a corridor, and another room at the front. And if you remember back to that Gervais Markham plan of the 1630s, that's reasonably where you expect things like the living accommodation to be, or the building of this type. I suspect that's what these were. These concrete floors here, probably for the kitchens around the back of the building. But unfortunately, apart from that, there was nothing on that site that need to be any earlier than 1650. So again, fortunately, I strongly suspect the sergeants were actually moving somewhere else for about 1528. No, I must apologise. I was going to bring a lot of the finds from the site with me, but we're in the middle of a major building scheme for the museum, so a lot of stuff's in storage now. We just simply haven't got the space to keep it in the office. So I'll just have to show you slides of some of the finds. This is a fragment of a 17th century candlestick from Newton Hall. This is what 17th century pottery looks like. It's a type of pottery called slipware. It's from a large dish, probably about this sort of diameter, and this lovely sort of applied decoration. You get drinking vessels as well, This is a two-handled jug. And large mixing bowls, panniers. These sorts of vessels were still being used into the early 20th century. Well, this is local use stuff. Base of a goblet. This is probably, I'm not too good on post-medieval pottery, but I think that's late 16th, early 17th century. It would have been about this sort of height. You've got this sort of faceted base at the bottom, and flared out into a big goblet. I do have the last little bit that hasn't made it into store yet. This is actually from Crow Lane. So the slide is this. I'm afraid I can't handle it around. Send it around into the handle. But it's a lovely little 17th. I think this is late 16th, early 17th century. Double-handled cup, just drinking beer. Someone was obviously having fun there. We've got a lot of tobacco pipe. Tobacco pipes are very easily dateable, and the reason we know some of the walls at Crow Lane are 1650 or later is they were built on top of layers containing tobacco pipe which could date to within 20 years. So sadly, although it was very interesting to excavate, very few of those walls can be a lot of them can be proved to be relatively modern. Okay? Right. Sorry about the delayed start as well.
I hope you'll agree it was well worth waiting for. So it's given you some insight, and it'll whet your interest if the interest wasn't there already. Mark's coming to talk to me some kind of historical society.
Yeah, that's right.
Would that be the same talk?
No, I'll probably concentrate on Lee Green for that one. It's a bit more relevant.
Yeah, that'll be in October.
We know a bit more about that.
The next opportunity is, I haven't got his name with me at the moment, but he's the gentleman from the CAB Citizens Advice Bureau. That's the first Monday in February, 4th of February, I think.